Over $1 billion annually of economic development is what this College of Health Education brings in to our community. And when you look at the need with rural health care and what our institution here is providing with the leadership of such a great team, it truly is a game changer for all of us as citizens to have the health care we need. And just to see this and the vibrant community that is created beyond health care and morphed out into places to eat and retail. This is a great place to be to talk about Discover Fort Smith.
Yeah. I love whenever you start talking about things, it's always like an inclusive thing. Like we're all in it together.
Yes.
And I feel like that's something to really be proud of. Like we're all in this together as Fort Smithians, as river people from the River Valley. We're a part of this together. So thank you for doing that. It's a great reminder for me. Well, welcome back to the Discover Fort Smith podcast. My name is Josh Bufink. I'm with the city of Fort Smith, and sitting next to me is my lovely co-host, Ashley Backer, with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, also known as Discover Fort Smith. And today we are at the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education. We're actually in the Health Sciences building. It's a beautiful building. If you've never been out here on campus, you need to come out. Just walk around. It's beautiful out here. But today we have a very special guest with us, my good friend Lee Herndon with OG&E. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you both. It's a real honor and pleasure, and what a great place to be.
Yes.
And to be able to have a conversation and one of our shining stars for Fort Smith, Arkansas, and the entire region.
Yes, it's bringing lots of people into our area. People are actually coming in. We learned about this before, but people are coming in and they're staying in Fort Smith because of Arkansas Colleges of Health Education, which is
Dr.
awesome.
Parker and his team have done a tremendous job. I remember when we had the first groundbreaking years ago, and that was a great experience. And then to see how it's grown, over $1 billion annually of economic development is what this College of Health Education brings in to our community. And when you look at the need with rural health care and what our institution here is providing with the leadership of such a great team, it truly is a game changer for all of us as citizens to have the health care we need. And just to see this and the vibrant community that is created beyond health care and morphed out into places to eat and retail. This is a great place to be to talk about Discover Fort Smith.
Yeah. And I love whenever you start talking about things, it's always like an inclusive thing. Like we're all in it together.
Yes.
And I feel like that's something to really be proud of. Like we're all in this together as Fort Smithians, as people from the River Valley. We're a part of this together, So thank you for doing that. That's a great reminder for me. Okay, so you're not from Fort Smith originally, is that right?
Correct.
What brought you here? How did you end up in Fort Smith, Arkansas?
So I moved from Tennessee, where I was born, Jackson, Tennessee, to Arkansas when I was in third grade. And we moved to Clarksville, Arkansas. And even though Clarksville is an hour away, we came here to go to the mall. Came here to go see the doctor.
People say going to town.
Yeah, we went going to town down I-40. And, I had my allergy shots here, so that's just kind of a gruesome memory of going through all the allergy testing. But that was done by Dr. Howell right down here in Fort Smith, and just coming here to bowl or go to the movies or church events, big lock-ins that we would have with the River Valley churches. And so growing up in Clarksville, I was very much connected to Fort Smith. And then when I graduated high school, I went to play football and attend college back in Tennessee at a small Methodist school, Lambeth University.
Okay.
And so found my way back there in 1987, and then found my way back to Arkansas in 2015.
All right. So what brought you back from Tennessee?
Yeah, so in my career, I started off in higher education and finished my career in higher education as an athletics director. And I was on the senior staff for Ellis Arnold, and many people know Ellis from his time as president of Hendrix College. But I worked for him, and then I started a marketing company and had that for a while, and we sold out. And United Way came calling, and I accepted a position as president and CEO of United Way of West Tennessee. We covered all the western counties and really enjoyed my West Tennessee time, and got a call, would I be interested in coming here and looking at this United Way? And at the time, I really didn't have any inclination of that. But then when they started talking about a gentleman named Raleigh Borum, and
Mm-hmm.
Baldor, and the endowment that had been laid and set forth by not just Mr. Borum, but many other very important leaders of the community, and to see that this United Way was able to live off of the interest from the investments, meaning 100% of the dollars that were being raised went straight to the programs and to the people that were in need. That was very attractive. It was also attractive to come back to my Wonder Years, if you remember that show.
Yeah.
Third grade to senior high.
Yeah.
And growing up over here in the Ozarks and the River Valley, so that was attractive. And of course, I have many friends here. Jerry Gladwell has been a great mentor to me through the years. Of course, we know Jerry's work with the Boys and Girls Club for 47 years. He was actually my first club director at 9 years old when he had his first job with Boys and Girls Club. So I was in his first class of club kids.
Full circle.
Yeah, so be able to reunite with him and many others and come back to Arkansas and just see the great work and just the importance that our citizens that had the means to help took it as a serious mission to really give back and create something that's sustainable throughout time. And many of our nonprofits have been blessed by people from this community. So it just shows the heart of giving. And so that's what brought me back.
That's awesome. So you were with United Way for quite some time. How many years were you
10
with?
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then you started working where you're at now. Is that correct?
Yes, OG&E,
Yeah.
Oklahoma Gas and Electric, and didn't see that coming. But what a great opportunity. So blessed to work for the Big Orange. We have 2,200 employees. We have a great footprint and a wonderful grid here in Arkansas, the manufacturing hub throughout the River Valley. And to be able to work for a company that affords us the opportunity to volunteer and continue our passion and do what we love while we do our normal business, that was very attractive to me. OG&E, when I was on the United Way side, was always one of our top donors, top companies for volunteer hours and giving back. And so I had a great relationship with the employees, such as Rob Ratley or Dana Craig. We like to call her Miss OG&E. There's actually a softball field with her name on it over by Kavanaugh School.
Oh, okay.
But all the work that was done by many OG&E folks, I already had an affinity for that. And when they called and I had the opportunity to make that transition, I was still able to keep my roots with nonprofit and continue my passion and work for just a fantastic company.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your role with OG&E. What is your title? What do you do on a daily basis with them?
Sure. I'm Community Affairs Manager, and that covers a lot. But in simple terms, I'm the account manager for all of our cities and municipalities, and I work with our mayors on their needs, whether it's connecting the dots on infrastructure, construction, just making sure that our team that specializes, whether it's engineering or project management, is connecting the dots with our metros or small towns for their needs. And then during storms, I work a lot with storm restoration, so I'm the public information officer for the region, meaning I'll connect to the media. I also try to get out ahead of storms when something happens or we know it's going to happen, reaching out to our mayors and our cities and working with emergency management to let them know where an outage is. Yeah. And many times an emergency manager will be out and about and see something as an outage occurs and can relay the information to me, and I can get it to the guys that go and fix the lines, to our line crews and service techs ahead of time. So a lot of communication taking place during the storms, and then working with the media on outlets for people if they want to know about their outage, they can go to OG&E.com. They can just Google OG&E outage map, and to always report an outage. Don't assume that it's been reported, because we like to have those calls coming in. So to call the call center and let them know that your power's out and following that outage map. So I coordinate a lot with that with our storm team, and we have, in my opinion, the best team for storm restoration.
Yeah,
I mean, when a storm happens, our guys are on it, and they put in tireless hours in the heat and the snow and the rain. Of course, safety's number one. So, we won't approach a situation until it's safe. But once it's safe, the conditions aren't always easy. So, for our team that's out there working hard, they take a lot of pride in it and to do it safely and as quickly as they possibly can. I work a lot with our legislators. I'm the internal lobbyist for OG&E for Arkansas. So on legislation, especially pro-business or pro-utility and things that are going to help us grow and have the capacity we need and keep our rates as low as possible. That's an area of focus of mine. We're still one of the lowest rates for any electric company in the nation. And I try to, qualify that by saying if my grandmother's lived here her entire life and all she's ever known is just one company, to her bill started here years ago and now it's here. So it's all relative.
Right.
So we understand that and we are concerned about it and care. When you have people move in from other states and they're like, is my electric bill right? This is too low, or they move here because of that reason. And when you look and interface that with what we do in economic development, we have affordable land, we have land, we have beautiful resources here, and we have low utilities in relations to the rest of the United States, and we're perfectly placed in the middle of the country. So when you look at our infrastructure with I-49 being completed, so I work on those things as well, just helping to work with Tim Allen and the Chamber and our other economic developers and our economic development team. My boss, Alba Weaver, does a tremendous job bringing in economic development to Oklahoma and Arkansas and working with folks. And so I play a role in that as well. And then many times I'll get somebody on the side will say, hey, we've got a street light out or we've got a tree over here at the Boys and Girls Club, and or my bill's too high. So I get a never a boring day. It's always exciting. But those are my basic tasks working in community affairs for OG&E.
And you've always been really proactive at reaching out to the city, letting us know, hey, the storm's coming, here's the plan, could you get this information out to residents? And so I appreciate that. But Ashley was talking to you a little bit earlier, and she was asking about, I guess OG&E actually goes to other sites sometimes too.
Yeah, so actually that was a great question. We do have multi-aid assistance where we work with other utility companies. So let's just take Fort Smith. If we were to have a major ice storm here, heaven forbid we don't, but if we did, we might have other utility companies come in to support us. And so when you see a hurricane, and what we've seen in Texas or in Florida or even the catastrophe that happened in North Carolina, you see a giant orange caravan of our guys are ready to go and they load up. And it's quite the scene to see that many orange trucks hitting I-40 and heading out. And our guys take that help very serious, and they go out and they help other communities get back online and to be able to repair the infrastructure that was damaged. And it's reciprocal back and forth among our utility companies, but something we take a lot of pride in. And many communities seek us out because they know the quality of work we do. And once again, we do it safety first and as quickly as we can.
I will say my nephew lived in Boone at the time when they had the hurricane that came through and ended up cutting off a lot of the Asheville, Boone, Buncombe County area, North Carolina. And he talked about the orange trucks and how appreciative he was of being able to just the crews came in and everyone came to assistance. So if you're not in a community that doesn't need that, like be blessed, but know that when those disasters hit, like the giving nature of the people that are going to do it. And then I think of just company leadership saying, yes, this is important to help brothers and sisters in other areas. You just have no idea how much it means to those residents. So,
and it's a tough job too, because our members have to travel away from home. They're gone many nights. And their families understand it's part of the job and part of the business. But then the rewarding side of that is the difference you're making to the community that you're serving at the moment to get them back online.
And you guys you give back a lot to the community. What are some ways that you guys do give back?
Sure. One of the most recent leadership books that I went back to was Leaders Eat Last. And when you look at that and you kind of...
Simon Sinek. Yeah, it's a good book.
Kind of break it down and creating that culture, that starts at the top. And my boss and our CEO, they're so encouraging and want us to continue to give back. And in many ways, they afford us the opportunity to serve on boards and to give of our time and resources and intellect to those agencies. We encourage all of our members to at least get in 16 hours of paid time to volunteer. We've done many projects with the United Way Day of Caring, and then other projects from building things, things that takes specific skills that you might need from an OG&E employee, to something as simple as putting toothbrushes in a bag or ringing that bell for Salvation Army.
Right.
Those are just some of the fun things that we get to do. The backpack program for kids with the Community Service Clearinghouse, or working with the children with Boys and Girls Club. Our members give time to Project Compassion in our nursing homes. So I don't know that I can just put my finger on one particular project, because they're all so special. We did build a kind of a hammock park, or what's that? An inu. Is it called an inu? Where you've got the kind of like the hammocks that the kids like to swing in. We went and set the poles and did some things for that, and so that was kind of a fun, neat thing. But
That's neat.
yeah, just some interesting projects to help out the community. And our members are always first and very competitive, and want to get out there and get their hours and give back. And once again, that goes back to that culture of your corporate responsibility. Of it's not just a job, but it really is a way of life, and it's a mission, and that just really interfaces with our values and beliefs as a company.
Yeah, and I known you for a couple of years now, and you really embody that in a lot of ways.
Thank you.
Servant leadership, and I was talking to them at lunch today. I was just saying, we were talking about people we admire, and I said, I really admire Eddie Lee.
Well, thank you so much. Likewise.
Because of how you serve people, and how you really give so much of your time back to the community. And I know that there are a lot of people that may be interested in, how do I give back? Like, how do I give of my time, my talent, my treasure? What are some opportunities? So maybe somebody's wanting to get started, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
How would you suggest they get started doing that?
Well, the very first thing is I would find a quiet place, somewhere where you can reflect. And I would think about what I call character building experiences, because we want to connect your passion to your purpose. So when we look at life experiences, whether that's something we've been through with a parent, maybe it's that season of life where our parents are growing older and there's elder care, or maybe it's something with a child, maybe it's an experience we've had with a child with special needs, maybe it's someone in our church or our community that's really struggled with low income and struggling with just basic needs. Many of us have not been immune to the drug crisis and alcohol, and we see family members and friends that have drug problems and see the challenges they have, and we've seen domestic violence, unfortunately, in our community. So people have had their homes burned, and there's things that sometimes are self-inflicted that we have to rise from. And sometimes there's things, no choice of our own. They're just circumstances that happen. So the first thing I'd say is, what are your character building experiences? And when you reflect on those character building experiences, what is something that connects to your heart? What is something that really strikes a nerve with you? I remember back to when my first daughter, Haley, was born. She was born with a birth challenge. And, as a dad, and you get that baby girl, and you're like, and dads have us, we love our boys. So if my boys are listening, I love you guys. But those daughters, extra special. And she had a birth challenge. And it's like, what do we do? And what's going to happen here? But it was thanks to a lot of prayers went up and blessings that came down, and nonprofits that provided needs that we weren't even aware of, and certain things that we could do. And that connected a passion to me for those that have children with a special challenge.
Yeah.
So when I look at, okay, what do I really want to do? That's a character building experience for me that I can then take that passion, take that personal experience, and then translate that and go to work. So if, somebody, the first thing, if you're thinking, how do I even get started? Just start with yourself. Do you love reading books? Do you love children?
Yeah.
Do you love making old folks smile? Do you love going and singing for them? Do you like baking cookies? Do you like interacting, or are you more behind the scenes? What skill set do you have based on your character building experience? Can you then put that passion to purpose? And then the next thing is, with our United Way, they've done such a great job with what they call Day of Caring 365. So all year long, nonprofits, and I think there's around 1,400 nonprofits in the region, and many of those will reach out to United Way and say, we have a need. And so then they categorize those and log those in their system. And so then if you work for a company and you've got a team that says, hey, we want to go do something, kind of get together and say, in what area? Children, old folks, homelessness, what area might you like to work? And if you don't even know, just call United Way and say, hey, I just want to volunteer. Do you have some ideas? The next step is obviously going through your church. If there's an agency that you've seen on the news or you drive by or maybe you participated in as a child, such as Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Boys and Girls Club. Many people don't even think about those things sometimes, but it's just right there in front of you. Find a way for your passion to connect and then reach out. And really probably the easiest way is just to call United Way, but there's many other opportunities. And I know most of our executive directors and CEOs would just love to have that phone call on the other end and say, oh, hey, Josh, you want to volunteer? Boy, do I have an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And hey, Ashley, and so just reach out. But it starts with you and your desire and just connecting your passion to your purpose.
Yeah. And I think when you do that, when you connect those two things together, it is, I mean, I think everybody could experience burnout at some point, but it helps you recenter yourself. You can remember your why when you're going to serve and volunteer. Oh yeah, I am passionate about this. And it can kind of prevent you from getting burned out on doing stuff, because you can burn out if you continue to do it time and time again. But if you're passionate about what you're doing, that helps break through those moments of, man, I'm starting to get a little burnt out right now. So
it does. And there's no greater joy than to know that you're making a difference in someone's life. And as I've gotten older, as a younger person, it was all about, what am I going to get for Christmas?
Right.
What's under the tree?
Yeah.
Sneaking in there at 4 a.m. and Santa Claus has arrived and your parents aren't up yet, and you got to get in there and try to shake it or just see, can I unwrap this and put it back, or maybe those kinds of things. And so I think it's kind of natural to go through that process of life where in the beginning sometimes we get focused on what am I getting, but as we get older and we start to have siblings and then have families and children and grandchildren, it becomes about giving. So as far as the volunteering goes, when you are out there doing something for others, there's no greater joy than giving.
Yeah.
And it's giving of time. It's giving of your talent. And it doesn't really matter your income. We love big gifts too for those folks that are listening that can write the big checks. Just keep them coming.
Yeah.
But for those of us that perhaps don't have the big check, just know every dollar matters, and that your time and volunteering and just building a relationship with someone is so rewarding. Many people just need a friend. They need mentors. They need someone to talk to. And many people just want to know that they're heard. Our VA, where our veterans stay, they just want to tell you the same stories over and over about Nam or Korea. Well, just listen. And every time I listen to a story, I learn something I didn't know before. It's like, oh, I didn't pick that up the first time. But the joy of them being able to talk and tell. So just simple examples like that.
Yeah. Time is so valuable. Using your time in that way.
Well, and you talk about having kids, and I think many of our listeners are, families, and they're trying to juggle kids and work and family life and things like that. Like, how did you do that as you were coming up through and maybe weren't with a company that said, hey, we're going to pay you to go volunteer and to do those things? Like, how did you integrate that into your life, and how are you helping your kids integrate it maybe into their lives as
That is
well?
a great question. I just think it just happened naturally. If I look back, it was kind of a blur. I remember having those big desk calendars with the big squares. that was the thing for a while. And before there was Teams and Microsoft and all the fancy stuff, I had a different color for each child. So Brock was blue, and I'd have all the Brock's events in blue, and Haley was red, and everybody had a different color. So I had this beautiful rainbow of colors on my calendar. And so then you start looking, okay, there's only a couple people that can be delivering and picking up, and it is daunting. And then there seems like there's a fundraiser for every child times 10. It's like T-shirts, candles, popcorn, and so it's like I can't give to everything.
I'm in the middle of it, I know.
And who can I hit up this time? And I hit up them last time, and then so just finding a way, I think, in the moment that when you're raising your children, maybe find volunteer activities that are connected to them, because that's where your time is. And sometimes it's hard to separate that or incorporate your children. I remember my dad taking us to the nursing home on, I think it was every fifth Sunday after church, and we would sing. And I didn't like that, Josh. That's why I'm not a singer to this day. He put me up there and said, okay, you're going to sing. And it wouldn't have mattered if we were out of tune or whatever. Just the folks loved us.
Presence.
And, and so maybe to answer your question, just finding a way to connect with what you're doing already and things that you can just kind of add on a volunteer piece. And then maybe there are some times that you can etch out to do something specific and help, because I know time management is a key. But here's something too, just at this stage in life where I am, rest is so important. My grandfather used to say, leaders must rest, even Jesus did. And we think about that, as a leader, we don't want to be so tired and so burnt out that we can't focus on ourselves, our family, and what we're trying to accomplish. My grandmother on the other side of the family, Josh, used to say, "Don't be haggard." I was like Merle, and she goes, "No, not like Merle. Leaders can't be haggard." So it's important to have that focus time and try to take care of yourself. And it's so much easier said than done, because it is a fast-paced world we live in with our jobs and our families, and so maybe that helps a little bit, just trying to connect to maybe what you're already doing. And then if you can chisel out just even a little bit of time on special occasions, even around the holidays, to say, hey, kids, we're going to go and find an angel tree. We're going to go shop. And you just
my daughter and I do that.
Yeah, beautiful. And just find something like that, something simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I bring my kids with me to, events sometimes too. So Community Services Clearinghouse, they do a big Thanksgiving giveaway every year. I'm going to bring a kid with me to that so that they get to experience it too. And so it's part of their lifestyle growing up as well. This is what we do. We volunteer. We serve other people. That's who we are.
Well, and I love that our school system now requires that. Like, it's 75 hours to graduate and you have to get it in. So, my daughter's a sophomore now and she's already completed her 75 hours. And there's a couple of things we've done together, and some of it she's just like, hey, I really enjoy Special Olympics. I really enjoy this. It's, whatever. And I just see her growing so much as a person. And I chose that in high school, but it's nice that they're encouraging all kids to kind of have that mentality.
Right.
And hopefully, because I just reflect on myself for a moment as a teenager, if somebody told me that I had to do something, or I had 75 hours, my first thought might not be a positive one, even though it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Even though it's a great idea. It might not be a great idea just because I'm told.
Yeah.
So hopefully our parents and our teachers and the students, as they get involved, it's like, I want to do more than 75. And it becomes something that's fun and creative and just make it an exciting event, because... Boy, I know sometimes we can be stubborn. We're told, I remember those days. You're going to mow the yard today. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've also got to do some really cool things with the Fort Smith Regional Chamber of Commerce, too. Tell us about some of those. I mean, I've seen you, near jets and flight simulators, all kinds of cool stuff. So what are some things that you've done with the Chamber of Commerce? What's your involvement with them, and what have you done?
Well, it's been a great honor to be able to serve on the board just as a member, and then on the exec. And then, of course, I had 2 years as board chair, one by default because we had an executive that had a better opportunity and left the state. And so I kind of jumped in at the beginning of the year and finished his term and then mine. But we have such a great chamber team. It really starts with the people. So when you look at Tim Allen and Tanya and the team that they've assembled from top to bottom, they make it fun. They're hardworking. And so to be able to see the benefits that the chamber has offered our chamber members, and if you follow that, we have grown in social media followers. We've grown in chamber members the last few years. Dr. Sandy Johnson did a phenomenal job this year as board chair. But the resources that we have for the members and to be able to see the growth, whether it's coming to hear a seminar on cybersecurity or whether it's getting help with accounting or just basic things, just understanding Microsoft Office or how to handle difficult people. There's all types of opportunities to grow. And, it seems like there's a ribbon cutting all day long every day.
There is,
as many great businesses as are opening. And then just our involvement with Project Phantom, which then was announced as the Foreign Military Sales, FMS, and is now as the F-35 project for our foreign military partners, to be able to see the families that are coming in and be around and help provide the resources as a chamber to just help them with things like how to navigate getting a driver's license, or what does the school systems look like, and here are your choices in the River Valley. Where do you want to live? Do you want to be more metro, more rural? People that are coming here from some countries, just to be able to mow the grass is really exciting to them. To be able to have a yard and and a fence to be able to put a dog in and not just live vertical or live horizontal. And there's just so many wonderful things. And the chamber has done a great job navigating that side with the health care. with Ryan Gehrig and Jeff Carrier, Baptist of Mercy, and then with our public school systems, higher education, with Dr. Riley and the great campus we have with the University of Arkansas Fort Smith and the opportunities they offer. So from a chamber perspective, to be able to be part of that, and then you mentioned some of the cool things, to be able to go out and stand by a jet, to be able to be there when Poland arrives for the first time, and to be able to interact with our commanders. And I think most people probably know them by now. Colonel Idy and Colonel Hassel, Matrix and Rev, they have just been so available and accessible, whether it's Rotary or Lions Club or chamber events or nonprofits, schools, to be able to be so accessible and share the mission and talk about the importance of the mission to the world.
Yeah, and Colonel Idy's been on this podcast before.
And having strength through peace. And today, they were putting on a great air show out here for free. If you just go up there to Target or Best Buy, you'll probably be able to see them really doing some great training.
Yeah.
But it has been very rewarding, and some of the opportunities that my company, OG&E, has afforded me and given me the opportunity to work with the chamber and the investment that OG&E has made into economic development through resources and also of our time that we put in to be able to connect with these countries and to be able to help with the bed down process has been really fun. And I have to talk about Colonel Cox and Chaffee. I mean, you're talking about an amazing mission that we have here. And many people don't even know all the training that's going on, but the thousands of service members that come in from nearly every branch of our armed forces to do different types of training, it's occurring here. And those folks are then coming out and eating in our restaurants, staying in our hotels, they're shopping, buying gas, meeting our people. It's just phenomenal, the military presence that we have in our community and what that's doing for the economy, and really the cool factor to have so many different people from around the world going. And Fort Smith's always been that way, for years and years and years, and now we have this additional presence from both the Chaffee and the Ebbing side. So it's been very, very exciting time for our chamber, the growth, the projects that we've announced in the last several years, and I do want to mention this. One of our focuses at OG&E, which totally aligns with our Fort Smith Chamber, so it's perfect for me, is, we're in community development. We want to have jobs that sustain communities. So our kids go through school, they can go to the Peak Center and get the workforce training, they can go to UFAS. There's so many opportunities there, and then go into the workforce and having those sustainable jobs for our community to grow.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing that, and I love hearing about the growth in our region and how we're really, I think, at the bottom of our upward growth trajectory, right? Over the next several years, things are going to really start to take off even more than they already have, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. So what things do you see for the future of Fort Smith or the River Valley? Oh, sorry.
What's your long-term vision?
Yeah.
What do you want for Fort Smith?
I just want to keep the momentum going. Let's just keep the foot on the gas pedal and keep. We haven't talked about this yet, but there's some exciting things. So, you look at jobs and workforce and continuing to grow. We have some very unique things here. Let's just take the symphony for a second.
Yes.
How many small communities have a symphony of this caliber that is the longest running symphony in the history of the state of Arkansas? I think 103 years maybe now. John's, he's watching, he may correct me, but it's over 100 years old.
And didn't he just get nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah.
I was about to say a Grammy-nominated conductor, Grammy-nominated musicians, the work that they're doing with their recordings, working with all the different genres and the opportunity. And that is really an attractive thing when people from large metros or other countries look to come here.
Right.
That's a shining star. The Marshals Museum, Josh, I found this out recently. So my wife, Amber, her great-grandfather was Jesse Bean, and he was a U.S. Marshal in the early 1900s. And I just found out through my father that I'm going to get this wrong because I've seen the little chart on the genealogy, but I'm related to Jesse James, so I'm the black hat and she's the white hat. And so I serve on the board for the United States Marshals Museum, and when you look at the history of Fort Smith connected to the Marshals, and then the breadth and width of the entire history of the U.S. Marshals, even to this very moment of what our U.S. Marshals are doing, it's tremendous to have that archived and put into exhibits here for people from around the country and around the world to come. No one else can say that.
Right.
And we have that here. So those are some very exciting things. And so there's very attractive opportunities for people to move here and come to the River Valley. I'm a mountain guy. I love the Ozarks. I love to kayak. I love the water. I love to fish. Every time I cross this lock and dam down here, I'm thinking about those big catfish under the water, and I want to put the boat in today. So there's just so many outdoor activities to hike, jog, bike. Mountain bike capital of the world is just right here. When you look at the trails that we have in Fort Smith and around us, so many great opportunities, fun things to do.
So if you and your wife are going out for a date night in Fort Smith, we're going to get to some of the things you like to do because you mentioned mountain biking, stuff like that. But if you're going out for a date night, where are you guys going to go? What are you going to do?
Rolando seems to be a go-to for us because it's great food. We love supporting downtown, and they're fast.
Yeah.
We can get in there and have a great meal and be in and out. We take friends there from time to time.
And the staff is wonderful.
They're so kind.
Yes.
They're
it's great
so
food. It's hard to just pinpoint one because there's so many great restaurants here, but you asked me for one. That's kind of our go-to.
Yeah.
AJ's down there as well. The Arkansas gumbo. That's really great. Of course, 21 West End, Doe's, Stonehouse. I mean, there's just so many great places, so many great spots to get a burger. Hey, and I love McDonald's. I like those little cheeseburgers. I love my Chick-fil-A sandwich. So, I'm just a regular guy. I taught, tease Michael Hadley all the time about, number 9 on that menu. I've got to memorize, my 2 cheeseburgers.
You're an equal opportunity eater, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes we forget, even our chains are, it's locally managed.
Hadley's,
it is our own residents. It's our neighbors that are working in those places. And I think sometimes we forget that part of it. And either way, you're still supporting local. Yes, some money is going to leak out, but still support the people that are working there as they're trying to kind of give back into the community.
And a lot, like Chick-fil-A and McDonald's in particular, you mentioned those, they give back to the community in a lot of ways too.
Yes.
So, no shame in supporting those places as well.
You got to have a Happy Meal or a Chick-fil-A sandwich,
Yeah.
And then you got Cane's, you love those chicken fingers. I mean, don't get me started now.
The foodie over here.
I go to all these places,
Yeah.
and love them all. They're really good.
All right. What about dessert?
Dessert. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I threw that one just out there. You weren't prepared for
You're
that.
You're downtown. Have you tried Bakus?
No,
the cheesecake place. Right
I've been nervous to say the name of it. Bakus. Okay.
Is so good if you love cheesecakes.
No, I will say I have eaten a lot of those bundt cakes. They donate a lot of those and give them to different charities and stuff. And I love that red velvet.
Yes.
The red velvet's probably my favorite, but
it's
delicious.
It's really good.
They are very active in the community. Yeah, that is awesome.
I have to think about the desserts for next time.
Okay.
I don't really have anything that jumps out.
All right.
So we're going to have you back
Apparently.
just for a leadership conference, podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we need you.
Yeah, for sure.
I would enjoy it.
So whenever you get time off, which I'm sure is seldom because you're a busy guy, but when you do, what do you like to do? Where could we find Eddie Lee, not in his suit,
I love to drive through the mountains.
Yeah.
I really love the Buffalo River.
Yeah.
And so if you go down I-40 and go up 21 to Ponca, that's one of our favorite spots. Steel Creek's a great place to go if you just want to have a picnic and don't want to get in the water or kayak, and you can go up. And Roark's Bluffs is there, and Roark's Bluff is the longest bluff in the country between the Smokies and the Rockies. So when you look at the different layers of, and I'm not a scientist, but you look at the different type of rocks and the beautiful colors that come off different times of day. It's a favorite spot. Hawksbill Crag is a great place to hike to, especially in the fall. And then, of course, I've kayaked it a lot up there. In the Mulberry, a little bit closer, but love the Mulberry. Mulberry's a great place to go. I love to fish, so you might find me out on the Arkansas River or somewhere fishing. And then I like to hunt as well. Don't hunt as much as I used to.
Yeah.
One of the things we do have here in the state is the opportunity with black bears. as well as all the other game. But it's something that's kind of special for the Ozark Mountains if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of great opportunities, and I walk the trails a lot, so I like to walk. So you might find me there.
Yeah. I mean, this is the natural state,
Yes.
right? So get outside, enjoy it. And there's all this stuff is really close by.
I was about to say, use this as a hub. We talk about hub and
Yeah.
spoke a lot of just
Yes.
using Fort Smith as the hub, and then go out on your day trip and then come right back
Yes.
and
Yeah.
get a good meal or a good symphony or an art show or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got, when you look at the Regional Art Museum or the Fort Smith Museum of History, so many great opportunities just to learn. Our public library is amazing here as well. We're very blessed with that. And so just lots of things to do.
Yeah. I love that we have remained rooted in our past, but also continue to look forward to growth opportunities, to new and exciting, innovative things that could be coming our way. So I love that we kind of keep both at the same time, remembering who we are, but also looking ahead to the future as well.
That's well said.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Really enjoyed it.
I've loved this conversation, and sounds like we're going to have you back again.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
So thank you so much, Eddie Lee.
Yeah, appreciate what you do and telling the story and just bringing it into our computers, phones, and living room about all the exciting things and all of your guests that you've had on. Appreciate that. It's really great insight into our community.